So, okay, first, I know the title seems weird, but, and I'm going to explain myself before I start, but today's video is going to be on why Goebbels is my favorite Nazi. Now, before you judge me or call the police or anything, I always, when I say this, because I say this a lot, I need to explain myself because I do not condone what the Nazis did. Horrible people who deserved so much worse than they got. But you have to admire the intelligence and the control they had and the people and the ways they achieved this. They were horrifying, but the ingenuity behind it was just... I don't know how to explain it without, sounding like I support them, but I really don't. It's just, you have to admire the intelligence of planning everything behind it. So that's why the title of the thumbnail is going to be a little bit weird. So yeah. Anyway, let's get started. Now, first of all, I am not going to really discuss Goebbels' involvement in the Holocaust because he wasn't that hands-on. He wasn't involved in covering it up. He was in the Sport Plus speech of 1943 in February, I forgot the day. He was actually speaking, and it was like the Total War speech, really famous one. I have a video on it, which, by the way, it's my most famous video. Famous. 1,000 views, which for me is huge. Anyway, he was speaking, and then he said something about how they were doing the extermination of the Jews. However, he literally almost said extermination, but he caught himself mid-word and changed it to like neutralization or something like that. But yeah, that's like, he was involved in covering stuff up. He wasn't directly involved in the whole concentration camps and exterminating camps. That was more Himmler, Speer, Eichmann, those people. Now I'm going to talk about his handle on propaganda. Now, I mean, if you know anything about me, or if you just scroll down my channel, I've made a bunch of videos on Goebbels before, and it's because of this reason. It's the mastery behind his propaganda skills. He wanted to be a playwright when he was younger, but he failed. He had these newspaper articles which didn't get that much attention. His plays, again, weren't that popular, and he was kind of desperate. And even in 1923, he had a diary, which, by the way, I think it was his half-Jewish girlfriend gave to him, who they later split up. And yeah, I mean, that's not important, but he had this diary where he wrote stuff on daily, and by the way, that diary is impossible to find. I've been trying to find it for like so long. All the volumes are not available in English, nor in Spanish, so I have to deal with it in French, but it's expensive. Anyway, that's not really important to the video. He actually wrote in 1923, around that area, there's in Munich these bunch of nationalists trying to overthrow the government. It'll never work. They're all like brutal, they suck, I hate them. Yes, they were the Nazi Party and Hitler. We are speaking about the same guy who would later go on to say, "Adolf Hitler, I love you." And that is literally a quote from his diary. I'm quoting. And one thing I find really interesting about Goebbels is how much of a sick event he was. And it's just astounding. So he had this undying loyalty to Hitler, literally till the end, even after Hitler died, killed himself and his children. But you can't argue that, there's people who believe otherwise, but Hitler and the Nazi Party were, especially by the late 30s and 40s, extreme right-wing. Well, for you guys, it's... No. I don't know how the camera angle is, but this is my right. Anyway, it was extreme right-wing. But when Goebbels came into the Nazi Party, he was kind of left wing. He kind of believed in those ideas. He was the most socialist out of the Nazi Party. He wasn't socialist, but he was the most socialist leaning. And this kind of has to do with his girlfriend at the time. I think it was Elsa. Yeah, I think it was Elsa. I always mix Elsa and Anka up. Anyway, so he actually joined the Nazi Party because of a bunch of stuff he saw. He went and saw Hitler speak, and he was enchanted. But he joined because of the socialist aspects, especially those set forward in 25-point program by Drexler in 1920, and he liked left-wing ideas. And when he was kind of climbing up the ranks of the party, he stayed on the left wing. However, there was this one point where there was a kind of big dispute between the right wing side of the party, Hitler, and the left wing, Strasser. This is the same Strasser which will go on to be in the Night of the Long Knives. Anyway, Goebbels, he knew both these men, but he had a ton of arguments against Strasser, and he didn't really like him, although he kind of agreed more with his ideas. Hitler, however, he was kind of how do I say this? He was more passionate. He was more sure of himself, knew what he was doing. He could capture a crowd. He actually did capture Goebbels, but was more right-wing and disagreed with his policies. And Goebbels, being as smart as he was, because the guy was smart, he even had a doctorate, and he even signed things in his diary, newspaper articles, Dr. G. Well, he actually said, thought, and it's in his diary somewhere, that he saw more of a future in Hitler. So he kind of sided with that side of the party. And because of Hitler's own appeal, that was bigger than Strasser's, and Goebbels' propaganda skills, which were quite amazing, for lack of a better word, which was what pushed Hitler to the top of the Nazi Party and kind of kicked Strasser out. Also, the newspaper Goebbels had, their ad group was so petty, like extremely petty. Anyway, it would later go on to serve as wartime propaganda, but when it was started in 1927, it was really petty. Now, another reason why I just find Goebbels fascinating is because, I've said this before, about his propaganda abilities. He knew that the film had a huge potential. I'm not even saying, it could kind of sway people. No, it literally could shape the opinions of so many people. You had cartoons, you have documentaries, you had political drama, comedies, musicals, which could be twisted and just reshaped to portray a different idea. And that's what he did. He knew that these films had subliminal messages, which, if repeated over and over again, could sink into your brain. Films like Jude Seuss or Der Jude, extreme anti-Semitism. There was more musicals against anti-Jews. Just a bunch of stuff. Some outright political ideas, some more hidden, but he knew what he was doing. And the whole People's Receiver, the radio, was brilliant propaganda because it felt like Hitler was in the people's houses. He could speak directly to them. And this method of propaganda was so successful that I think it had a huge part in FDR's own popularity in the US. 1933, around the same time the Nazis got to power, and by that time Goebbels and the People's Receiver were quite popular, FDR had these fireside chats where he would inform the nation of what he was doing. Essentially the same thing the Nazis did. Same thing. And it's just his constant use of bombarding people with propaganda and ideal gender standards and whatever, and images and jobs and social pressures, which was really shaped a whole bunch of people to do horrible things. And it's just this mass manipulation, which I find so interesting and fascinating. Also, the guy looked like a rat, which I kind of funny. And okay, now I don't know if I can put the clip here because I don't really have permission to do so. So I'm just gonna tell you about it. There's this clip of a 1940s British, movie or documentary or whatever, and it's about this castle that they had been building in Wright. Wright was the town where Goebbels was born, and I think the town was under attack, or I don't know, something about the town and the castle or whatever. And the guy was saying in literally like a 1940s voice, oh yeah, this castle was gifted to Dr. Goebbels by the people of Wright, the good people of Wright. It is unfortunate that the people of Wright, that Goebbels was born in Wright. Actually, it was kind of unfortunate that Goebbels was actually born at all. Which is true, I'm not gonna lie, but holy shit. The shade. Also, a thing that I find really interesting about Goebbels is his psychology, his mentality. He tried committing suicide twice. He tried attempted suicide 3 times in his life. 2 failures and 1 success. And if only the first one would have succeeded, how many lives would have been saved? Just think about it. But first one was because I'm not inventing this. I swear to God, I've read it in extracts of his diaries. His girlfriend left him, and he was depressed because she was kind of cheating on him, and well, he was really depressed and thought there was no reason to live, and he was, not gonna deal, and he tried to commit suicide. And this is like a genuine reason. It's like people go into depression and stuff, but it's this whole treating depression stuff, which is a whole nother topic. I'm not even gonna get into that now, but like the guy needed serious counseling, and just imagine if he had gotten the proper help, because that let his mind just going into dark places. And then for the fast forward a few years, 1920, 1930. In 1932, the Nazis won 213 seats in the German parliament, in the Reichstag. However, the next elections that same year, in November or December, they only had 196 seats. Yes, they were still the largest party in the Reichstag, but they had lost 20 seats. Goebbels was so devastated that he thought they had lost the opportunity, and he had genuinely considered or even attempted, I do not know if he actually did, committing suicide, because he thought his time was done. If only he had actually done it, imagine. And then, of course, you have the 1945. And what else about Goebbels? That's pretty much it. It's just his mass manipulation, which I find really interesting. And I don't know if I'm expressing myself correctly here, because I've spoken to people, my friends, people about this, and they all think I have this huge obsession, and that it's not only his propaganda I admire, it's his ideology, which I don't. And I know I'm saying this a lot, but it's true. I just don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. His genius is astounding. You can only use it for good, Like, such a lost opportunity. Imagine. Actually, the guy had a degree in history from the University of I forgot the name. It starts with H. Heidelberg University. That's the one. Anyway, yeah. So that's gonna be it. So yeah, sorry about if I offended anyone. I hope I didn't. not my intention. If I did, please let me know, and I'll try and fix it or delete the video or whatever. But it's just, I admire the genius, not anything else. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you found it interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.